Just when it looked like the Essendon Football Club was gaining some stability and momentum, another wave of change looks possible. Just 2 years after their latest boardroom bloodbath, another one looks on the cards. 2 vacant positions remain on the club's board, and it's reported 5 people are looking to fill the 2 spots. One of them is Premiership player Paul Weston. His message is the same as the last few challenges, all along the lines of restoring club greatness, gaining respect back from the entire competition, and becoming a destination club. There is no clear plan for this, except for change. It's Essendon's favourite word, and has gotten them nowhere in a painfully long 20-year drought with not one finals win. If Weston gets on the board, all the other directors need is 2 of Weston, Melissa Werner-Green or Dean Solomon to win a majority of member votes, and current President David Barham will be tossed, with his deputy in Andrew Walsh likely to be installed as new president. It never ends. Barham, in response to a possible challenge, spoke to The Age and made his point clear. I'm preaching stability, unity and alignment because that's what we need. We need that to be successful, so I would like the chance to finish what we started. A key to success in the AFL is stability, especially at the board level. Having this means everyone is in line, there is no panic in the face of pressure, and normally means the football program is set and solid. Since 2004, Essendon have had 7 different presidents. It's roughly a new president every 3 AFL seasons. For comparison, let's look at the successful AFL clubs in the same period of time. Geelong have had 3, Richmond have had 3, Sydney have had 2, Hawthorn have had 5, and Collingwood have only had 3. The Melbourne Football Club, who have been dysfunctional at times in the 2000s, match Essendon having 7 different presidents over their last 21 completed AFL seasons. And if another presidential change is to take place, the Bombers will have had the most boardroom level change since 2004 out of all the 18 clubs. It seems to be a never-ending cycle at the football club. One regime comes in, lasts a few years, and is kicked out for another that does no better. There is no breathing room, no ability to let a direction flow, and always a sense of uneasiness at the top of the club, and that spreads down on the field. When Weston tells the Herald Sun in relation to consistency of performance, at the moment, Brad Scott hasn't been able to turn that around. It should leave Essendon fans nervous. A new regime comes in, and that often means they want their own people in charge, and then that puts Scott under more heat, and the cycle continues. It's a shame because the football program seems to be heading in the right direction. I know on field they have been up at the start of years under Scott, then down in the second half of seasons, but there have been a lot of positives. It's all a part of a grand plan for stability over the next decade. Barham, Scott, CEO Craig Vozzo and new list manager Matt Rosa get this. In a 2024 interview, Scott addressed this to the Herald Sun. But if you can't maintain some stability and keep a laser-like focus through the ups and downs, you aren't going to be able to work through it. Our recent history, and by that I mean 2 decades, shows that. When you actually look at the stability we are building, where we have come from, where we are now, and where we are going, I think you see a bigger picture than wanting to torch Windy Hill in the short term. Scott, an experienced coach and AFL person, gets that this is a club that has had 20 years of instability, the drug saga, bad coaches, and a football program that can't develop players. Turning all this around takes time. Barham got in Scott as a calm and process-driven coach, and getting rid of Adrian Dodoro has finally let new blood in Matt Rosa take over the list management. Dodoro was formerly in charge of list management from 2010. How he survived until 2024 is seriously a miracle. That's harsh to say, but the results of his drafting and player trading speaks for itself. It was bad. The club has made it clear to all their new list management plan. Barham, Scott, Vozzo and Rosa know they aren't talented enough to compete with the best teams. The first 2 years under Scott made that blatantly clear. They are undertaking a 3-year draft plan to get in great young players. It officially started this draft by getting in small forward Isaac Kako alongside 4 other new draftees. In 2025, they have 2 first-round picks, one of which is Melbourne's, alongside another second-round pick, and they have their full slate of selections for 2026. Factoring in Nate Caddy and Archie Roberts from 2023, who have already shown good signs, it's a plan that has everyone at the club on board and ready. No more Dylan Shields, Will Setterfields or Peter Wright types. Time for top-level youngsters that can last a decade at the club and grow under some form of stability and coaching. But with this new boardroom showdown looming, this strategy is already under threat before it really starts and is allowed to breathe. The reality is Essendon is already seeing the benefits of the current leaders. There have been little spots of improvement everywhere in a team that still has holes. Sam Durham and Jai Caldwell boomed in 2024 out of nowhere. Nick Martin was a revelation in defence, and young ruck Nick Bryan looked good at the end of the year. On field, there are still significant needs which the club is addressing. Small forward has been an area of concern for a while. Kako should help with that, and key forward is also an issue. Caddy looks like a serious player, and alongside Cole Langford, Harry Jones, and hopefully an at least competitive Peter Wright, there is something there. The midfield is still a bit light on, especially with that big powerful midfielder, and no doubt this upcoming draft, the scouting team will look to fix that. Archie Roberts looks like a future rebound defender, and if Zach Reid can finally get healthy, he can form a strong trio alongside Ben Mackay and Jordan Ridley. There are pieces here to work with. It's why Essendon won 11 games last year, but fans and observers can see around 4 to 6 holes on field that need to be looked at. Still, Essendon on average had the 5th best inside 50 differential, 3rd best intercept possession differential, and 3rd best tackle differential in the AFL. The platform under Scott is being built. The overall polish and inside 50 class and talent is the difference. So what should the expectations be in the next few years? It's hard to judge with Essendon. Their plan to go to the draft in the next 3 years signals that they don't think they have a top 4 calibre squad, and again that first 2 years under Scott prove they are a win or 2 off the top 8. They aren't too far away from finals, but still well off the best teams. So expectation will probably be more of the same, if not a touch worse. It might frustrate Essendon fans hearing that, but there is nothing in the recent past or right now that could allow you to predict a big improvement. Getting games into the young players to replace Dyson Heppel, Todd Goldstein, Jake Stringer, Jake Kelly, and fading others out the team like Jaden Laverde and Dylan Shield into less critical roles will help long term. It's not that all these guys were bad players, but the results under Scott prove that they could only get you so far. The openings from these players on field is where the draft strategy comes into play, and hopefully the A-grade talent. It's a fascinating time for the football club. Will those with an important say and vote go for change once again, or finally hold their nerve, trust the process, and let the club have stability and time for growth? No club has had more turnover than Essendon in the past 20 years, and it's led them nowhere. Right now, it looks like the roller coaster is dangerously close to continuing.